Greetings everybody, today I will continue to walk you through the parts we're going to use in our AMD sponsored Ruby build. We spoke last week about amazing S8 case sponsored by Case Labs. It's custom painted and I already started working on a layout for the figuring out which fittings I'm going to use, so don't mind this motherboard that you can potentially see inside on the video just for mock-up purposes. And today I will talk about keyboards that we get from Tesoro, which is an American company founded by gamers, and they actually did a pretty good job. But before we go into looking into the products they provided to us, I would like to extend thank you for everybody who helped since our last video. We get some cash donations and we get quite a few things sold in use section of our store, which allows me to proceed a little bit further with the parts we're still missing for this build. We got some DDR4 RAM from G-Skill. I choose a model which has no heat spreaders, which is cheaper and also allows me to water cool it without much trouble. And so things looks pretty good. I appreciate everybody who continue to support us. We're a little bit behind on the funding for this project, but with your help, things get moving faster and faster. Back to Tesoro products, I would like to thank you, Global PR and Taiwanese marketing company who works with quite a few high-tech companies worldwide, helping promote their products in different markets. They was able to contact with Tesoro guys on my behalf and ask if they're willing to participate in the Ruby build. And I asked for one single keyboard in black, but they was really nice enough to provide us actually two models. And I was able to test them and like to talk about this today. My initial inclination was do the standard review as we usually do, open boxes and just telling how cool the box is and how squishy the foam packaged inside of those boxes, but I decided to take totally different approach and actually try those keyboards in real life. So for last 2 weeks, I use one keyboard that I connect to my laptop here in the office and I use it every day, and after that I switch to other model and I work on second model as well and try to compare them. My relationship with those products evolved with some lows, some high. I would like to share with you what's happened here. Overall, my experience was rather positive than negative, but let me give you some details. My random selection of the first keyboard to try fell on Tesoro Colada model, which comes in two flavors. One is the silver, called Saint, another one traditional black, which called Evil. It would be my personal choice. Most likely I would just ask for black, which is the natural choice for most of guys here, including myself. But the guys sent me silver model, which was quite unusual, but that's what I pulled out of the box when I opened it. And it's replaced the models that I used in the office. It was Logitech G15 keyboard. All the model already discontinued, but I use it for quite a long time, and so I get used to it. So when you switch from one product to other, it's always a little bit of adjustment. You feel some inconvenience, and that's what happened to me. First, I was really feel stressed because the font that you use on keycaps for this keyboard is not really readable in a way. I would say that all letters, many letters, look very much similar. So you look on R or D or S and they're all so similar shapes that for guys who don't type blindly like myself, I still need to look on the keyboard from time to time because I'm not fully capable of typing in blind mode. So, and I was like, oh, shit, like what's this, and I can't really understand it, and I felt really uncomfortable for a couple of days, but somehow brain adapted over the time, and now I have this keyboard for almost 2 weeks. I have absolutely no issues with that, but initial shock was quite high. I was like ready to unplug it and put back my Logitech just because it was just stressing me too much, because I can't recognize which one is which. But somehow it worked. So that was the initial very unpleasant experience I got, but it's luckily it was overcome. The thing that I immediately noticed that I really liked was the fact that weight of keyboard is really high. So it's very heavy keyboard. It reminds me old keyboards that I used to have on a supercomputers, such as like Digital Equipment on IBM. They have those keyboards that cost like a few $1,000, and you can kill somebody with this. So this one is really heavy, and I really like it. One thing that I really don't like about modern crop of so-called gaming keyboards, that the weight is relatively low. So when you work on your desk, quite often keyboard gets moved, which is you need to correct it, and it's very annoying experience. So this one doesn't move anywhere, and it's not only because of the weight of the keyboard, but also they have really good quality rubber legs on the back of the keyboard. So you can see it's like plastic that you can turn out, but it's also end of it is kind of rubberized foam, some materials that attach to it, to the legs, and it has such a good grip, you wouldn't believe it. It's really hard to move this keyboard anywhere, and that I really love this feature of this keyboard. So I planted it firmly on one spot, and it stays there for entire 10 days until I switched for something else, right? So that part I really like. Another thing that I like, they have a, if you notice, they have a capability to extend your USB connections on the back of the keyboard, and even you can plug your mic and your headphones if you want so. So they have quite a few wires coming out of keyboard, and as a result, a bunch of connectors on the other end. But the side benefit that I learned, that the fact that the cable that coming out of keyboard is so stiff that if you put it in a certain position, and basically just stay in that position. And one of my complaints and problems with keyboards are quite often the wire get kind of sagging, and I start kicking it with my legs and start moving keyboard as a result of that. It was absolutely not an issue with Tesoro keyboard, because I wired this cable under my desk towards my laptop docking station, and I never touched it in 2 weeks, and I absolutely love this feature. Maybe it wasn't intended way to do things this way, but it was absolutely plus to do so. Another unusual surprise came from the color of this keyboard. So you can see it's all brushed aluminum, very cool looking, but wouldn't be my choice because naturally you lean towards getting everything in black. But one thing that I really like about this keyboard after almost 2 weeks on my desk, you see the dust and dirt on your black keyboard pretty fast, and the silver one masked it complete. So this board looked as brand new as the day one, and this look exactly the same in after 2 weeks. Also, if you try to check out if it's dirty or not, you see some dust on it, but you can't see. So it's the same story as you have your black car and it's pain in the ass to wash it every time because you can't see anything on it, or you have a silver car which you cannot wash forever and it still kind of looks good. So it's exactly the same thing happened to this silver keyboard. I really like it, and actually now after some time of using it, if I would buy a keyboard, I actually would buy silver, like honestly, because it doesn't look gross after the time, and it doesn't matter how well you try to clean it, try not to eat above it and stuff like this, but still the dust is falling and it starts dirty pretty fast, and it's pain to clean it between keycaps and everything. So the silver actually very practical choice. So this was quite interesting and unusual discovery that I really liked. Another feature that I was really curious to test, how the keyboard will perform in different lighting environment. Myself as a boss, I have a window seat basically, so sometimes I have direct sunlight beaming through the window, so it's really blinding. In the evening when it's already late, you have a pot lights going straight. So I have a little bit issues with G15, especially now when keycaps get polished, so sometimes the reflection is so bad you can't see nothing, and LED can't even help to fight with it. So I was curious how keyboard works, so I try to check it what is going on when I have a very sunny day and what's happening late in the evening if you're stuck in the office, anything in between. Well, I wouldn't say that LED is anyway stronger in this model. Lobera specifically comes with only one color choice, so it's just white LED. And also it's not maybe the best contrast between white LED and silver keycaps. It still was pretty visible, so I would say that direct sunlight getting a little bit hard, but still workable. For the pot lights in the evening, actually it works really well because my G15 has already a little bit polished keycaps and it reflects very annoyingly way in such an angle that you can't see nothing really. So better don't even look on it. This one, maybe because it's new, but it works much better. So in the evening, it was much more comfortable for me from the pot light, the type of light in the office. In anything in between was similar experience, so you can see perfectly fine. One complaint which is I have, but it's not really related to this model, any other model, you know that LED on a switch is located usually on the top of the switch, so when you look on your keycaps, you can very well see anything that is on the top part of the keycaps, and there's almost nothing coming on the lower part. So the guys who may be using some multilingual keyboards, so the top layer you will see in the dark, but the bottom level for the second language you will see nothing. But it's the same problem for anything else, so you can't complain really about Lobera, but nevertheless I want to mention that. Another thing that it's a little bit stupid, but I really liked it. I don't know why. This model has, actually other models too, they have this additional light on the side of the keyboard. What's the purpose of it? I have no idea. And I thought, okay, maybe guys just want to make things kind of look cool. But in the end, I started really liking it because it highlights the things on your desk next to your keyboard. You can see your mouse. I can't explain it on a logical level, but on psychological level, it was very comforting. That's probably the best way to put it. So I really like this feature of this keyboard, and actually one of the reasons I will keep it, believe it or not. So sorry I can't give you any better idea why it's so cool, but for me it worked well. And I saw a couple other reviews and people saying they absolutely hate it. So I guess tastes differ. For me it was absolutely killer feature. I don't know what's the purpose of it, but it's make you feel more comfortable, especially in the evening. I'd like to skim briefly about some gaming features here. I don't really use them, so I just talk really quick about those. You have 3 programmable buttons on the bottom. I really like this location. They're really unintrusive, and I really hate how those bunch of buttons usually you have on the left side keyboard, like 710 model G710 we have here in the office, and just stuff ugly and make keyboard bigger. So I don't know how convenient the press them while you're gaming, because I didn't really try that, but I like how the guys think out of the box and put it in different location and make it nice. Programming really is a breeze. You just press one button here on the keyboard, press that button, do combination, press again, done. Everything remembered very easily. So it's no need to use any software or anything like this if you don't want to. Also, it has a few function features that you can switch between the different profiles, so to speak, and it will highlight those section of keys or those sections of keys. So the standard stuff that usually you see on many other keyboards. I usually care less about this particularly, so but for anybody who expects such features, they're present in this keyboard right here. So okay, so I would like to switch to the black model and tell you a little bit what my experience was with the black one. Second model I tried was the model that I originally requested for my build. It's called Tesoro Lobera, and the main reason why I asked for this particular model was that I wanted black keyboard with the red glowing cups, and this model has RGB type of LEDs inside, so you can change color of your keycaps glow whatever you want. And obviously black and red was really nice type of thing that I envisioned for Ruby build. So when I pulled this keyboard, my first impression was that the keyboard looks not as upscale as a silver one, and main reason that they added this layer of plastic on the edge of the keyboard that doesn't look good, doesn't feel nice. It's kind of grippy, but unpleasantly grippy. So for me it was no go. I also had very strong feelings that the black keyboard not as heavy as a silver one, but when I put it on scale, it turns to be the identical. So it was optical illusion of sorts, which is kind of strange, but that's how it works. So I guess as soon as you start adding plastic parts to the any product, it starts devalue its looks and comprehensive like type of expectation from the customers. That's my opinion on that. Also wasn't able to figure out how to configure colors of the keycaps without going to the software. I tried to resist software as much as I could because I know it's usually poorly written code, it's close your computer and you have enough garbage in your system already. So I tried to resist it as much as I could. So I tried not to use it, but there was a few presets for the colors, but I couldn't figure out how to configure it without software. So I went and downloaded the drivers. Well, the things went not as rosy as soon as we start touching software. I think Tesoro engineers and whatever employees working there, they're really talented guys. They created a really cool product, which I personally really like. But as soon as became for the part of this business sense and software development, things just start falling apart. My first complaint that as soon as I went to the website, the only format that I was able to download drivers was in RAR, archive. I understand that a lot of cool gamers and a lot of people on internet community like WinRAR, but it's not 100% of population. So if you're looking for the consumer product, so to speak, you need to use something which is more standard and something that can be clicked and opened just from the Windows. So for me it was additional headache. I was really pissed that now I have to go to CNET and download this bloody WinRAR that I don't want on my laptop before I even can install the software, right? So it was an extra step which I think is people don't think too smart sometimes, and even if you're so big fan of WinRAR, which is not my business, if you like it, fine, right? Why don't you put two types of file? One is with zip, which is just open from Windows with one click, and one is WinRAR, it's if you love it so much, right? So that's, you know, you need to be a little bit more smart in a way to work towards consumer market. And second, well, I installed this thing, didn't work for me, have to install it 3 times, but finally, maybe it's my fault, maybe not, but finally I make things work. Took me a while to figure out how to go in the part which is actually configure the color, and I basically failed test completely. Finally I just went through and read some tips and figure out that this little triangle thing is that you click, and I tried to click on it, but it's because the section of the triangle is so little that react on a click, so I was clicking kind of around it, and just makes this area bigger, so for clumsy people it works better. So anyway, so you can configure that and change colors quite a bit. One thing that I figure out that out of all colors that works the best in a good light environment during the day, it turns to be not the white, not the green, no nothing. Light yellow was the best contrast for the black keyboard, so you can see the keycaps the best with the yellow ones. Also, personally, I will switch back to the silver one, so it doesn't matter, and I have only option with white, but that would be my tip. So if you work in environments that you have too much light around you, configure it to the yellow, and you probably will be the best contrast for yourself. Red wasn't that impressive. I would rather to have a little bit deeper red, but maybe when this will be not as bright light in the office, I think that we can figure it out, so it will look with our build. And but overall, 2 models very similar. My vote personally would be go to the model which has less plastic in it. Doesn't matter you like black or silver. I like silver because it's such a good color choice, as it turns out, for the being not dirty, which is sometimes unpleasant looks after a few months of usage. So I hope this will help a little bit with how neat your desk look like. This one is really cool. It's can configure your RGB lights. In the best case scenario, I would rather have this type of style of outer body with RGB cable, so the ideal word, that will be my ideal keyboard from Tesoro. RGB cables, but everything metal, no plastic anywhere. But overall, I wholeheartedly recommend the product. I definitely keep both. I'm not going to give them as a giveaway or any sort. I absolutely love the product. I like the how they click, a little bit louder than older one, obviously, because it's mechanical. Because it's such a convenient product, I will use one for the Ruby build and second one and just mine keyboard right here in the office, and will stay there. Definitely time to retire my G15. It's getting old and dirty and stuff like this. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and I hope you find this review somewhat helpful. I try to give you some tips, not the standard stuff you can hear from reviews, or something that I came out of a few weeks of using the keyboard. And I will come back with more videos. I will have more stuff coming from Ruby build, so we can continue the series.